Thank you for joining me. So this class is going to be about 60 minutes, and we're going to work on core strength, one of my favorites, and of course some flexibility to balance that out. And we're going to talk a little bit about gut health and how the relationship between managing your stress relates back to your gut health. So there's a connection from the brain to the gut, and it's really critical. Part of why we're doing this Yoga Superfood and Self-Care Challenge is to reduce stress and to practice more self-care, because that truly does nourish and help improve our gut health. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but we're going to start with a reading. You can go ahead and have a seat on your mat. If you want to prop yourself up on some pillows or a yoga block or something like that, that's wonderful too. And you can close your eyes if you want to, rest your hands down onto your knees, or turn your palms to face up if you like. Bring awareness to your posture. So as always, you want to lift and open your heart. Feel the crown of your head spiral up to the sky. Gently draw the belly in and anchor the tailbone down. And just take a deep, calming, cleansing breath in and out through the nose to begin. And exhale, let it go. So really land on your mat in the present moment and do the very best you can to carve out any distractions over this next hour that we have together. So you can keep your eyes closed if you like. And many of you are probably familiar with this reading. You probably have heard it before. And it goes like this. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people don't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. As children do, we are born to manifest the glory of God within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And I love that quote, that reading so much. And you might think, well, what does that have to do with gut health or core strength? Well, it has to do with sort of lighting the fire in the belly, which we're going to be working on in just a moment. The dogs are playing a little bit. And when you light that fire in the belly and you feel connected to your core and the navel chakra, which we're going to talk a little bit, the home of creativity and sensuality and connecting to your deepest sense of joy, then you can shine your light and do that in a way that inspires, hopefully, others to do the same. So that really comes from your core. And so that's why I wanted to share that with you. And again, many of you have heard that before. It's always a good one to reread. I reread it often. Okay, we're going to start in a reclined position today. Yay. So we're going to actually start in reclined butterfly, unless that's not comfortable for you for some reason. And always, always, always honor, protect, listen to your body, modify as you need to. But you can hug your knees into your chest. Just give yourself a hug for arriving here on your mat and carving out this time to practice your self-care. And then lay your feet back down onto the mat. And if it's comfortable in your knees and your hips, you can open the knees out wide and just rest the hands onto the stomach. And then close the eyes and turn your nose to face upward towards the ceiling. Maybe you want to walk the shoulders a little bit down and slightly in. And with your hands resting onto your stomach, take a deep, calm energy breath in through the nose. Feel the belly fill with air and the hands slightly float up towards the sky as the belly fills up. And as you exhale, let it go. Release tension from the neck and the shoulders. And again, you're just landing here in the present moment on your mat, carving out this next little while to engage the core, to practice the self-care, and to release stress and tension, which also helps to nourish your gut and every cell of your body. So on your own, take 2 more deep cleansing breaths. Try to fill the lungs as completely as possible. Feel the hands float up with the inhale. And as you exhale again, feel that softening, feel that release, that letting go, surrendering into the moment. And do that one more time on your own, taking the deep, most full inhalation that you can. And as you exhale, release, soften, and let go. And just enjoy that moment of stillness that's at the bottom of your exhale. We'll be back in this position before you know it, but in the meantime, we're going to engage the core a little bit. So you can open your eyes gently, slide your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers right at the nape of the neck. So the thumbs are along the nape of the neck and the fingers are interlaced along the base of the skull. You're going to inhale first. Before you lift the head, neck, and shoulders up, I just want you to flatten the abdominal wall. So push the bottoms of the feet together and feel as if you're flattening and engaging the core before you even lift. Okay? And let's do that again. So as you inhale again, breathe into the belly, relax everything. And as you exhale, press everything together. The bottoms of the feet press together, the belly pulls in and slightly up. And then this time you can lift the head, neck, and shoulders up as well. And you might want to kind of shimmy yourself up so you can get up as high as you possibly can. The head is completely relaxed back into the hands. Okay, and we're going to go with the breath here. So you're going to inhale, lower down. Exhale, squeeze everything in, flatten the abdominal wall first, and then lift up. And you go at your own pace. The inhale lowers you and the exhale lifts you. So you can certainly go a little bit faster or slower than what I'm doing, but always be mindful that your movement and your breath is connected. And so while we're starting to warm up here a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit more about the gut-brain connection. So here's something that you may or may not know, that the gut is deeply connected to the brain and vice versa through the vagus nerve, which is one of the largest nerves in the body. And that connection, you might feel it often. If you feel nervous or stressed in your mind, you feel it in your stomach. And that's because there is that connection. So the body is either in a rest and digest mode, or it's in a fight or flight and a work mode, okay? And so they don't work very well together. So right now we're working the abdominal wall, but we're trying to very consciously be mindful. And that's a good thing to do when you're eating, when you're running, when you're doing anything that you're doing, single tasking, so that you can really be connected in the moment. So right here, right now, I want you to be very present. Feel that fire that you're starting to create in your core, in the navel chakra, the home of creativity, connection, and often a sense of joy. Okay, so 2 or 3 more here, hopefully starting to feel that warmth. We're going to spend about 5 minutes on this, so if you don't feel it yet, you will soon enough. Stay with me if you can. And again, at any time that you need to rest, that's totally fine too. So you're going to continue to lift and lower with the upper body, just like you are, but you're going to bring your knees together to touch. And you're going to squeeze your knees together. As you squeeze the knees together, you'll feel the connection from the inner thighs up through the pelvic floor into the abdominal wall. So continue to gently squeeze those knees together. And then we're going to start to rotate elbow to opposite knee. So let's start by taking the left elbow over to the right knee, and maybe it'll touch. Inhale, bring it back down. Exhale, take the right elbow to the left knee and bring it back down. Okay, continue to take it from side to side. And instead of thinking about the elbow touching the knee now, I want you to think about the shoulder coming to the opposite hip bone. So the right shoulder to the left hip bone, and then the left shoulder to the right hip bone. And then if you want to add a little modification, we're going to take that right arm and bring it behind the outside of the left thigh and hold it there. And then release back down and switch sides. Oh yeah, I'm starting to feel it. So left arm is outside of the right thigh. You need to hold it there and release it down. So I just want you to pause. And that's such a good thing to practice too. So permission, I keep giving you guys this permission slip to practice the self-care, to do less, to let go, and to pause. So feel the top of the movement and pause. And continue to take it from side to side a few more. Yes, yes, yes. Creating that fire in the belly. Light the fire deep within you. Shine your light, share it with others, inspire others, hopefully. We are part of a positive ripple effect here. And as I always talk about, energy is just as contagious as anything else. So have good energy and share that with other people and inspire them. Okay, release down. Excellent job. Okay, from here, we're going to do bridge pose. So important part of your core, by the way, is your glutes, right? That is part of your core. Anything that's not your arms, your legs, or your head is actually part of your core, if you didn't know. You're going to reach your fingertips down to your heels now. You're going to take a deep belly breath. So really breathe into that navel chakra, breathe into the belly. And then as you exhale, you're going to press to the feet and lift the hips up to the ceiling in a bridge pose. Now, if you turned your head at any time, it's okay to look every now and then, but then I want your neck in line with your spine. So your nose is actually pointed straight up to the ceiling. You'll be able to follow along, don't worry. Just release your tailbone down. You're going to inhale as you drop your tailbone down. Exhale, press through all four corners of your feet and lift the hips back up. Inhale to lower down. Exhale, lift it up. So we're still flowing with the breath. And we're going to add some arms to this as well. So the hands are, lift the hips up and the hands are down by the heels. And then when you drop the tailbone down, the hands are going to come out over your head. So lift the hips up and bring the hands down by your heels. And then drop the tailbone down and bring the hands out over your head. Continue to flow with your breathing. Inhale. Exhale. And try to go through your fullest range of motion. Be mindful in the present moment. Notice your knees, your hips, your ankles, they're all in one line. So you don't want your knees splaying out. You want to actually imagine that you had a block between your knees or maybe a beach ball and you're kind of hugging in almost. Let's do 2 or 3 more just like this to really engage those glutes. Again, they are an important part of your core. Last 2. And this is your last one. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. This time we're going to hold it up to the top. And again, your nose is pointed straight up to the ceiling, so the back of the neck is neutral. I want you to go ahead and push to the balls of the feet so the heels lift up. And then roll your spine 1 vertebra in to the mat at a time. So the low back is the last thing released in. And then go ahead and hug your knees into your chest. Again, you're giving yourself that big hug for being here, for practicing your self-care. All right, excellent. So from here, we're going to do a rotation. So your hands are going to go out by your sides, and you can press your palms flat into the floor if you like. And then your shins are going to be parallel to the floor. If those of you are Pilates people, tabletop position. So the shins are parallel to the floor and the knees are right out over the hips. Just notice if you draw your knees closer to your face, then your low back imprints to the mat. We don't want that. And if your knees are really far away from you, then you arch your back. We don't want that. So you want neutral spine, so the knees are right out over the hips and the shins are parallel. You can point your toes if you want. You're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to drop the knees over to the right. You're going to breathe in, rotating the spine. You're going to exhale, bring it back to center. And rotation is always really good for digestion too. So that's what we're working on here a little bit, obliques and digestion. So drop over to your left. Take an inhale as you drop and exhale, bring it back to center. You don't have to drop the knees all the way down to the floor, by the way. So just go to whatever position feels good for you, whatever range of motion feels good for you. And think about squeezing the knees together, by the way. So try not to let the knees splay apart. Keep them connected because that helps to engage the pelvic floor and the abdominal wall. Squeeze those knees together. Exhale, come back to center. Now, for those of you who want to challenge yourself a little bit more, I'm going to offer you a challenge to experiment with if you want to try it. So here's what it looks like. You'll drop over to the side. You can take the top leg and extend it out, or both legs to extend out. And then you can bend and bring it back in. Okay, try the other side. So you're going to drop over to the side. Again, if you did it one leg out, both legs out, bend, and bring it back in. Fun, right? A little challenging. Take it out. One or both legs extend, bend, and bring back in. Let's do one more. So drop over, extend, reach, reach, reach for those toes, bend those knees, and come all the way back in. Awesome job. So now you can bring your hands down by your side. And if you want to, you can actually kind of lift your tailbone up and slide your hands like right underneath your tailbone. So you have a little bit of a lift, and this is going to help you with this next exercise. So we're going to tap the toes down to the mat with bent knees. You're going to inhale. The toes will lightly tap. You're going to exhale and bring the knees back up to center. Inhale, tap down. Exhale, tap and lift. So again, nose pointed up to the ceiling, so the back of the neck is neutral. You're breathing in as you lower down, and you're breathing out as you lift up. Now, if this is feeling okay for you, no problems with your back or your hip flexors maybe aren't screaming at you, you can do it with straight legs. So you can lower all the way down, that would be your breath in, and then you would exhale and lift all the way back up. Now, what I want you to try to avoid doing is swinging and using a lot of momentum. Okay, so we want to control with the breath. You lower with as much control as possible, and then you lift back up on your exhale. The exhale is on the exertion. So you inhale, lower, and you exhale, and we lift. Okay, how about like 2 or 3 more? Stay with me if you can. Again, anytime you need to do a break, that's fine. Again, the bent knee version is totally fine. So do you, I always say you do you, I do me, and we're good. If we try to get competitive, it is not a yogic way. So competition does not exist on the yoga mat. Release any competition and you'll keep yourself out of trouble. Okay, this is your last one. And then go ahead and bring it all the way back up and hug your knees into your chest. Excellent job. Okay, from here, we're gonna go ahead and flip over onto our stomach. So an important part of the core is your back, right? So we skip this a lot. A lot of people focus on the front side of the body because that's what we can see, but the back is equally important. So we're gonna start with a Superman, modified Superman, Superwoman, hands underneath the shoulders. We're gonna hover up, lift the feet and the arms so everything's lifted, and then we're gonna lower back down. So the breathing is we inhale, lift, and we exhale, lower. Continue to lift and lower with your breathing. This next little series is going to kind of take us, remember old school, like around the world, when we used to do that in step classes? I know you guys remember that. We'd go around the world on the step. And so we're going to go around the yoga mat with this next little series, which is kind of fun. Okay, last 2. And this is your last one. Okay. From here, you're going to prop up to your forearms, and on your forearms, you just want to make sure they're straight underneath the elbows. So I don't want your elbows out wider than your shoulders or narrower than your shoulders. Their elbows are right underneath your shoulders. Okay, you're going to curl your toes under, and I want your big toes together to touch, by the way. So feet are not hip distance, they're toes together. And then you're going to lift your hips up to the ceiling, and we're going to hold forearm plank. So forearm plank is such a great core strengthener. Eyes are focused a little bit out in front of your hands. So I don't want you to look forward and I don't want you to look back. I want the back of the neck long, so you're just looking a little bit out in front of your hands. Squeeze those inner thighs together. The reason your feet are together is so you can squeeze the inner thighs and engage the pelvic floor a little bit more deeply. Take one more breath and then release it down. Good. Now we're going to pivot over onto your side and bend your knees in a little bit. And again, same thing, you've got a straight line from your shoulder to your elbow. We're going to do some lifts here. So you're going to lift your hips up and you're going to lower back down. So we're going to lift and lower and lift and lower. This gets the obliques again. So the obliques are in charge of waistline, which we all like. And also, again, we're working on that digestion here. We're creating a little fire in the belly. The navel chakra, again, the chakra system are the energy centers that run along the spine. Navel chakra right here, right below the belly button, creating that warming sensation at the core of the body, that fire deep within us. Of course, we're fueling our prana, our life force energy all this week with all our self-care and nutrition and superfoods. And we're choosing nourishing thoughts to strengthen our warrior spirit. Okay, one more time here. Lift, lift, lift. Oof, and lower it down. And like I was saying, Everything that's not your arms and your legs and your head is part of your core. So you probably feel it in your shoulder girdle a little bit here too, which is nice. And we're going to get a nice stretch. This is called mermaid stretch. So you're going to stretch it over and across to the side. That should feel really good at this point. Get a good side stretch. Try to cut the arm right by the ear. So it's not out front, but it's over by the ear. You're open. Like think about opening your heart to the sky a little bit. Take a big breath and side stretch. Good, good, good. Oh yeah, that feels really good. And then bring it all the way up. Okay, let's take it to the other side. So you can swing your feet over to the other side. You can just turn your back to me if you want to too. I didn't want to turn my back on you. So I'm going to pivot here, but do whatever feels good for you. Knees are bent out in front. Again, we're going to lift and lower and lift and lower. Again, this is getting more the obliques on the bottom side here. You'll start to feel it as we go. You can take that top arm, by the way, and lift it straight up. That's all good too. And you're breathing, right? So even though we're exercising here, which is very good for gut health, we're consciously breathing. So overdoing, overexerting, that's actually not great for our gut health either. But sending that message of peace and calm. So we're challenging ourselves. We're consciously breathing and mindfully moving. That's the way to do it. Okay, a couple more here. 3, 2, and 1. Oh yeah, okay. Lift it all the way up. Take that mermaid stretch, which feels really good. Getting the length and the openness on the side waist. Take a nice deep breath. Again, think of rolling the heart a little bit up to the ceiling or towards the sky if you're outside. Take a big breath in, side stretch a little bit longer, a little bit deeper if you can. And then bring it all the way up. Now turn this way onto your mat, and we're going to do forearm plank again. So you're going to square your hips, and your shoulders are aligned right over top of your elbows. The back of the neck is long and extended. You should feel a long line of energy from the crown of the head to the tailbone. So you're really mindful of your posture here too. And as we work on all these yoga poses, the more mindful of your posture will be. The heart is open, the neck is long, the tailbone is reaching away from the crown of the head, the inner thighs are squeezing. One more breath, hold that core strength, and release all the way down to your belly. Nice. So another set of the Superwomans. Let's fly. So inhale, lift up, exhale, lower down. Lift and lower. We are going to add on a locust pose this time, just to open up the chest and the heart even more. Last 3, 2, hold it up this time, hold it up. Now reach your hands behind your tailbone, interlace your fingers behind your tailbone, lift and open the chest, squeeze the palms together so you're opening up the collarbone on the heart, strengthening the whole back line of the body. Now really reach through the toes as well. And release down. You're going to push your hands into your mat and rest back to child's pose. Hips back to heels, forehead down. Take a couple nice deep breaths in your child's pose. And all that strengthening of your back, it's good to counter pose by flexing the spine, breathing into the low back, and counter posing to stretch and release what we were just strengthening. Take one more very deep breath into your low back. And then we're going to come forward and come straight into downward facing dog. So you can spread your fingertips out wide, lift the hips up to the sky, and pedal a little bit from right to left. Good. As you pedal right and left, you're going to sink the heels down to the back edge of the mat, and we're going to do a half sun salutation. So from your downward facing dog, we're going to inhale and shift the weight forward into a plank pose. And you're aligned right into the top of a push-up position, which is a great core strengthener as well. Total body strength, stand on your hands. Again, notice your alignment from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Squeeze those inner thighs, take an inhale, elbows bend, lower down to the mat. Inhale, open up to your cobra. You're welcome to do an upward facing dog if you like. And then curl the toes, lift the hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Look up to your hands. Take a walk forward to the front edge of your mat. Line your toes up. Halfway lift, inhale, look forward. Now really pull that belly button in and up. Slide the shoulder blades back and down. Again, notice the reach from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Exhale into a forward fold and step straight back to plank pose. We're going to do that 2 more times. Bend the elbows lower down. Inhale, open up to a cobra or upward facing dog. Pause. Downward facing dog. Push back. Now this time we're going to walk backwards towards your feet. And you're going to take your feet out wide, hip distance apart, and hang out wide in a ragdoll. So you're going to grab onto opposite elbows and sway from right to left. Release tension. Let it all go. Remember the connection from the brain to the gut. So the more calm and peaceful you can be in this moment, the more that you allow your body to digest and rest. Good. Now release your fingertips down to the mat. You're going to turn your toes slightly out and your heels will be turned in slightly. I'll turn this way. And then you're going to drop the tailbone down between the knees and bring the palms together to touch in your prayer squat. Such a great stretch. Great groin inner thigh opener as well. And the forehead can release down to touch the fingertips. And in this position, you can just take a moment to just check in and to listen and to reflect back maybe on that reading as we started class with, like your fire, your light, your presence, and how it can be positive, contagious energy to others. And then release the fingertips down towards the floor. Lift your hips up to the ceiling. Toe heel your feet together. You're at the back edge of your mat. Inhale, look forward to your halfway lift. Exhale into your forward fold. And once again, we're going to do that half sun salutation. So you're going to walk forward to a plank pose right into your top of your push-up. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. I'd like those toes together to touch. Squeeze your inner thighs. Open your heart. Feel the length from the crown of the head to the tailbone and the strength in the core of the body. You can shift to your toes, bend your elbows and lower down. Inhale into your back bend. Take a big breath in. Pause. Exhale, lift the hips and come into downward facing dog. Now close your eyes and deepen your breathing and allow yourself to slow down. As you inhale, you feel positive energy coming in, and as you exhale, you release and let it go. You can bring your toes together to touch at the back edge of your mat. Lift your right leg straight up to the ceiling, bend that knee, and kick open just a little bit. Should feel really good for the hip flexor and the quad. And then from there, if you want to come into pigeon, you can bring your right knee down towards your wrist, point the left toe, slide back and come into a pigeon stretch. If you want to modify, okay, so say your knees don't feel good in that position, you can come onto your back and cross your right ankle over your left knee and be in a reclined pigeon stretch, okay? So whatever feels really good for you, whatever version of pigeon that you want to do, that's what I want you to do. And in that position, mindfully bring your attention back to your breathing. Bring that attention from the brain to the gut and how everything in your body is connected. 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. 95% of your serotonin. So if the mood is low, might be an opportunity to concentrate more on feeding yourself good, healthy foods to lift your spirits. It might not be the first thing you think of, but exercise and food, these are natural mood boosters because they strengthen and support the good bacteria and the serotonin that is built in your gut. So just contemplate for that for a moment. Take a couple more nice deep breaths in that pigeon stretch. If you're facing down in your pigeon stretch, you can come back to downward facing dog. Make your way there slowly. And then we'll switch sides. So if you're doing it in that downward position, you can lift your left leg straight up and then bend that knee, kick it open, and enjoy that stretch. And if you're doing it on your back, again, you just switch it out. So left ankle over the right knee. And more importantly of all, so these hip openers are really a wonderful navel chakra pose. So such a great way to open the hips and to release tension and to connect with that deep source of creativity that lies within you. So slow yourself down, deepen your breathing, and remember sometimes less is more. Sometimes doing less and slowing down is the most positive thing you can do to support your body. So we don't always have to push forward. Also know that, okay, so we said 95% of serotonin is built in the gut. Also, 70% of your immune system lies in your gut. So there's a lot going on right here. And the more that you feed your body nutrient-dense superfoods, high-quality, nutrient-rich foods, the more that you'll fuel that good bacteria in the gut, support your mood, support your positive energy, and support every cell in your body, including your immune system. You can go ahead and come out of that, and we're going to make our way back to downward facing dog. So go ahead and sit back to downward facing dog, lifting the hips and pedaling out the feet right and left. And just give yourself that permission to slow down. And we're going to walk the hands backwards towards the feet one more time. And hang out in ragdoll. Last time here, so feet out wide. Such a great stretch for the hamstrings and a release for the low back. A little soft bend in the knees is wonderful. And a little sway from right to left is such a great opportunity to remind yourself to go with the flow. Like a tree just blowing in the wind. Release, let it go. Let the weight of the head relax even more. So the head hangs heavy and lengthens out the cervical spine. Fingertips are going to touch the mat. You're going to turn your toes out and your heels in one more time in this prayer squat. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to work on crow or baby crow, which is such a great core strengthener as well. So if crow is brand new for you and you just want to watch, that's okay too. If you have a practice with crow and you just want to hop right up into it, feel free. And if you haven't done it for a while, I'll talk you through it. So your hands are going to come out in front of you. They're going to be shoulder distance apart. And remember, your hands are going to become your feet. You're going to be standing on your hands. So you want to really spread those fingertips out wide. The focus of your eyes needs to be forward. And I like to start with my heels touching and my toes turned out. Okay, but everybody's different, as we know. So you do you. And then you're going to shift your energy forward into your hands, like riding a tricycle, right? And you're going to just keep your toes as part of your balance. And then if you can work on maybe picking one foot up, and then the other foot might float up, and maybe it won't, but you'll get lighter and lighter with your toes. And if you want to pick your feet up and bring your toes together to touch, and lift your heels a little closer to your tailbone, you can do that as well. Take your time. You don't want to push up into it. You want to float and practice really mindfully. Okay, remember what we said earlier, there's no competition in yoga. Such a great core strengthener. Once you've practiced that a few times, you can go ahead and take child's pose and rest and recover there. So your hands will drop back by your feet. Your forehead will drop down to the mat. And you're tucking yourself into a tight little ball. Remember, part of this whole process of this yoga superfood and self-care challenge is to go inward. The energy is going inward. So as you fold yourself into this tight little ball, you're taking the opportunity to just reflect. We've already come so far. You've already accomplished so much. Try to let go of things that are not perfect. Focus on your progress. Focus on the things that are right and that are good, and let the rest go. And always remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So just continually taking those steps forward is going to move you a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, closer to where you want to be, closer to your intentions. And as you fold yourself into this tight little ball, you're just holding space for silence. So let's take a 60-second break of silence together and just reflect and go inward. Slowly bring your awareness back. We're going to go ahead and press with the knees and the shins. You're going to rise up to a high kneeling position. You're going to gather positive energy as you reach out and up to the sky, upward facing camel. You'll feel a little bit of a back bend, opening the whole front line of the body. And then you're going to exhale and fold inward towards yourself again, pausing at the bottom of the movement, releasing and letting go. Feel the elbows drop. You can take as long here at the bottom as you want. I almost fell asleep during that little 60-second break. I'm just kidding, but I felt really relaxed for sure. So moving and energizing yourself also allows you to feel more relaxed, like you'll sleep better, right? Now, right now, you're just going to continue to flow up and down with your breathing. So you inhale, the inhale lifts you, right? Opens you, energizes you. You feel the openness through the front line. And then you exhale and you dive and you fold forward and you release and you soften and you let go. Now try a few more of those with your eyes closed. Just do it with your eyes closed and really focus on your movement. Focus on the connection from the brain to the body, to the gut. Focus on the connection from the breath, the inhale lifting you, the exhale folding you, and also just trust your intuition on it. Like take your time, stay higher at the top longer. You can come into a full camel if you want to, or fold inward longer and just stay in that tight little ball. We're all different. Each and every one of you is going to be doing something slightly different at a slightly different pace. That's a beautiful thing. We are so diverse. We are so unique. We do not need to try to be the same. All right, so close your eyes, focus inward, follow your breathing, and move with your breath. Just do one or two more of those at your own pace. Think of shining your light as you come up, and then folding inward towards yourself as you lower down. And after this last one, just stay forward into that restorative child's pose one more time. We're going to start to wind things down. And then from there, walk your hands far forward so you're in an extended child's pose. Extended child's pose just means your hands are as far away from your feet as you can. Your elbows are straight. Your hands are spread out wide. You're grounded. You can inhale, shift forward to your hands and knees. Exhale, curl the toes, lift up. Downward facing dog. Now we're going to hold downward facing dog for 5 breath cycles. Deep breaths in and out through the nose. You are in no hurry. You are present. You have plenty of time. You are grounded in this moment with your hands pressing down, your heels dropping down, your tailbone lifting up. Feel the belly pulling in and the tailbone lengthening up and back. Now you're going to shift forward and you're going to round your spine as you shift forward. So we're like in a rounded plank pose. So you're almost like cat pose, rounding your spine up. Your chin's tucked a little bit to your chest. Your core is nice and strong. And then from there, you're going to release to a full plank and all the way down onto your stomach. Now, as we start to wind down, we're going to do one of my favorite poses that we don't do a whole lot of. This is called crocodile pose, and it's just basically Shavasana in the reverse. So your feet are going to be hip-bone distance apart or wider. Your toes can be pointed. Your elbows are spread out wide, and your forehead is going to rest down onto your hands. Now you're going to close your eyes here. Now think of Shavasana and how you're just resting. But in this position of facing downward, we're still going inward, right? At the same time, you can bring awareness to your breathing a little bit better in this position because you're getting the feedback from the floor beneath you. So maybe close your eyes and just notice if you are holding tension in your jaw or your neck or your forehead or any of that, and let all of that go. And fully bring your attention to your belly, and as it comes into the floor as you breathe in, and as it retracts and comes in and back towards your spine as you breathe out. Continue to practice that. So deep belly breaths. Feel the feedback from the floor as you train your body to breathe into the belly. That's where you're going to have that full diaphragmatic breath. You're going to more fully oxygenate the blood, and you're going to support your digestion. So just take those deep belly breaths. Pull the belly in and back up to the spine as you exhale. If you know Uddiyana Bandha, it just means the belly lock, pulling the belly in and up. And just practice that 1 or 2 more times. Reflecting as you're here, hopefully gonna commit to good quality sleep tonight. Maybe going to bed 10 to 15 minutes early, turning off your phone early, winding down, and supporting your immune system, your digestive system, your brain, your cellular health by getting good quality sleep. That is truly how our body rebuilds and recovers every cell. All right, beautiful, everyone. You can flip yourself straight over onto your back from there. So from your stomach, you just flip straight over onto your back. We're just going to finish with a few more twists. So to start with, I just want you to hug your right knee into your chest and then just circle that knee around in one direction just to release that hip. Again, the hips are part of the navel chakra when we do hip release poses. And you can reverse that circle, go the other way. Just loosen up that hip. We're going to come into a reclined twist. Take your left hand across your right knee. Your right hand can be out to the side. You're going to inhale and exhale. Draw your right knee over and across towards your left side. And you can hook your right toes behind your left knee if you like. Put a gentle press from your left hand into the outside of the right knee. And just release your low back. Getting a couple nice deep breaths as you come into this reclined twist. So you're already feeling that we're shifting into this rest, recovery, digestion. So it's either rest and digest or it's fight or flight. The body really can't do both at the same time very well. That's why you'll notice if you're stressed, a lot of times you'll have digestive issues. So there are a lot of things we can control with our digestion. Of course, our diet, less sugar, alcohol, inflammatory foods, processed foods, getting good quality sleep like I was just talking about, non-toxic products on your body and in your home. But this reducing stress and setting healthy boundaries is so important as well. Take one more nice deep breath with this reclined twist. Bring it all the way back to center. Give it a big hug. I want you to bring your head, neck, and shoulders up. Bring your nose towards your knee. And release it down. We're going to get a full body stretch, lengthening out from your fingertips to your toes. Full body length. And then exhale, pull the left knee into the chest. Give it a big hug and circle it around. Should feel a nice release through the low back and through the hip. For many of you, hopefully you're getting lots of good cardio into. You're hiking, maybe you're cycling or running, and this flexibility stuff is such a great release for your body. Reverse the circle, go the same thing, other direction. And we're going to come into that reclined twist. So the right hand can come across the left knee. You're going to breathe in. Left hand can be out by your side. Exhale, take it over and across. And again, a little light pressure from your right hand to the outside of the left knee. I like to hook my toes behind the knee joint. That feels good for me. See how that feels for you. Consciously breathing, softening, releasing. And again, these twists are supportive for digestion as well. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here. And bring it all the way back to center. Hands come out over the shin. Head, neck, and shoulders come up. Nose can come to the knee. And release it down. Full body stretch from the fingertips to the toes. Lengthen everything out. And then hands down by your side for Shavasana. So here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. A couple things. Shavasana can either be just where we are, arms and legs straight. It can be this reclined butterfly that we began practice with a while ago. Okay? Or like we did last week, you can scooch over to the wall, swing your legs up the wall, and do legs up the wall pose. What's most important of all is that you do something that feels super restorative, relaxing, and allows you to be completely in a place of surrendering and letting go. If at any point you feel like you're struggling with it, change it up. Do something different. For the next 3 minutes, we're going to be completely still, doing the best you can to block out distraction. Close your eyes, adjust your posture so you feel a little bit more open, a little bit more relaxed. And carve out this time, giving yourself permission to rest and digest. Now, as you continue to lie in stillness, very peaceful, calm energy, just notice your breathing, everything slowing down, feeling that deep sense of peace. Take a moment in this place of peace and calm to contemplate and ask yourself, what nourishes and nurtures my mind, body, and spirit? What foods, what activities, what people strengthen my warrior spirit, fuel my life force energy, and make me feel more connected to my higher self? What actions can I take today, tomorrow, to feel more in line with my intentions, with where I want to go? Just take a little while here, holding space for silence and to go inward, to listen to your thoughts, to recommit to your intentions from this place of peace and calm. And now if you don't already, go ahead and just place your hands lightly on your stomach. You can still be in this reclined position, lying on your back. But with your hands on your stomach, you feel the breath coming into your belly. And you feel that connection again to your navel chakra, that home of creativity, of passion, of joy. And when we feel connected and engaged with our core, we feel more free, we feel more connected to our intuition, and all of our senses are aligned, helping us make better choices. Sometimes when we feel out of balance in our navel chakra, we'll feel emotional. Our digestion will be disrupted. But when we're in balance, we feel creative. We feel like we're in the flow. So just feel the breath coming in and out of the nose and into the belly, feeling for a moment connected so deeply to your core, feeling a connection from your gut to your brain, and making that commitment again to nourish the body on such a deep level that the gut is fueled, the brain is fueled, the spirit is fueled. Go ahead and gently pull your knees together and hug your knees into your chest, your ribs to your thighs. One more time here. And just rock a little bit from right to left. Maybe one hand is on top of each knee and you can stir the knees around in a circle. Circles are always so calming for the central nervous system too. So we're going to finish out with a few circle motions tonight. Go in the other direction, so knee stir in the opposite direction. And then you can roll onto one side if you want to and push yourself up to a seated position, or you can rock and roll yourself up if you want, whatever feels better. So rolling onto one side, pushing up, or rocking and rolling up to sitting. Again, feel free to sit on a pillow or a block if that feels better for your hips. And then we're just going to finish out with one more seated circle. So with your legs crossed, you're going to circle forward. This is just an easy way to stretch the hips and the low back. It's just called a circle stir. It's kind of fun. Kids love this too. So if your kids are joining you, have them practice this for a long time. Like just circle around is so calming. It's a great stretch for those athletic kids that are doing all those sports. Good little gentle stretch for the hips and the low back. Okay, one more time in this direction. Same thing, go the other way. Circle around. Good. 2 more times. Just calm energy. And then go ahead and bring it back to center. And so always remembering too that your yoga practice, what we do here on our mat, is a wonderful thing, right? Strength and flexibility in our physical body. But it's also that taking that yoga practice, that calm energy and that flexibility is power mindset, and carrying that off of your mat and into the rest of your life. So it's less reactivity, more peace, and that positive contagious energy. Okay, so as we finish out, just a quick reading about inflammatory foods and fueling our prana. So this is from my book, and hold on one second. I forgot to grab my little reader glasses. You know, I'm coming to this realization that, yes, I'm finally needing these. I'm done fighting and borrowing my husband's readers, and I'm using my own. I'm all grown up. Okay, so here we are. Fuel your prana, toss your kryptonite. Prana is the life force energy that is inherent in all living things. Foods that strengthen our prana will reduce inflammation and your chances of disease. Foods that weaken your life force energy and increase inflammation are your kryptonite. By limiting inflammatory kryptonite foods and increasing healing anti-inflammatory superfoods, you will fuel your prana and every cell of your body. If you're not used to, or if you are used to, if you are used to a very disciplined, very restrictive diet, counting calories, carbs, or feeling guilty about eating, this freedom and this flexible warrior approach to eating might seem rebellious. For others, it's exciting to focus simply on choosing foods that fuel your prana and limit the foods that drain or deplete you. Keep in mind, it's not just the foods that we eat that can be either nourishing or draining. It's the thoughts we think, it's the actions we take, it's the situations we put ourselves in, and the people we align ourselves with that can also fuel or deplete us. So choose wisely. So, and that reminds me too, that it's not just what we eat, right? It's how we eat. So if you're eating on the run and you're stressed and you're just mindlessly eating, then that's not good for gut health either. So we want to eat mindfully. You know, if you are one to do a prayer, a gratitude prayer before you eat, that's a wonderful practice as well. These are the little things that will help you metabolize your food better and create that good connection from the gut to the brain. Okay, wonderful job, everybody. Let's take a deep sun breath in together to seal our practice. So hands together in prayer. Bow to yourself for showing up and for practicing your yoga and fueling your mind, body, and spirit with your superfoods and your self-care. Take a deep breath in, gather good positive energy, reach for the sky. You can look up and watch your palms touch, and then exhale, draw your hands in and back to heart center. And I say to you, namaste. The light within me honors and acknowledges that same light that is within each of you. I am grateful for you. Stay flexible, warriors, and practice your yoga off the mat as well. Continue to fuel your life force energy and your prana and strengthen your warrior spirit. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you guys soon, and have a good rest of the day.